Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Calling the Shots with Kiki
and Sarah.
And I've been meaning to ask you this. Have you legally changed your last name?
No. That was my plan to do it before last episode, but as I mentioned in last episode, I was very sick. Yeah. And so I meant to do it that week and go, because it's kind of a process, because you have to go to the Social Security office, and then you have to go get your license changed.
I've heard
after that
really complicated.
From what I've looked up, there's an online, it depends on if you're qualifications, and you take a little quiz and it tells you if you can do part of it online or if you have to do all of it in person. And so I took the little quiz and I can do the first part of the application online and submit that and then go in to the office and finish up the rest of it in person. So it doesn't seem too complicated. I think it's just going to be a pain because how long is the line going to be at the place?
Yeah, it's a time commitment.
Yeah, it takes time. And then you have to wait a certain amount. I need to look up how long, but you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can get your license.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you have to do your Social Security card first and then your license.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even getting, luckily it actually wasn't bad, but when I switched my driver's license to a Utah license not that long ago, I was like, I do not want to go to the DMV. But when I did go, you could make appointments and stuff.
Yeah.
And that makes it...
I think since COVID, a lot of places started doing that.
That's nice.
Just so they could kind of manage the numbers of people coming in and when.
Oh.
I think they set it up so there was only a certain amount of appointments, and now I think they just have it
I was going to say, I feel like that should have always been a thing.
Yeah. I don't think it always was, but I think that was one thing COVID did help with.
Yeah, for real.
But I need to change mine because my license is still a Florida license.
Yeah, it's okay. I just barely changed mine.
And so I need to change mine, and I really don't want to.
Do you know what? Yeah, I didn't want to either, but I'm upset because that means I changed my license plate to Utah.
Yeah.
And I did not realize that they were going to ask me then and there which one I wanted, and I felt so much pressure. But also, they came out months after I got my Utah license plate.
Yeah.
Guys, they came out with this one that's so sick. It's just all black.
Yeah.
And then white letters. I was
isn't that one you have to pay for though?
I don't know if it is. Most of the time.
Some of them you have to pay a year to keep.
Oh, really?
Some of the design ones, the specialty ones.
I didn't think it was a specialty one. I wonder if it is. Because the,
I think it is.
The Moab one, the ski one, those are all, free ones.
Yeah, and the American flag one.
Is the American flag one. Yeah. Yes. But from what I've heard, it's actually, really cheap annual fees for license plates.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I got a Utah license plate too, and I just did the American flag one because I think when I went to look, the black one you did have to pay for, and I just didn't want to have to do that. I don't remember it being a lot, but I was just I'd rather just have free one.
I totally would have done the black one.
Yeah,
but I did the ski one because it's gray and my car is gray.
Love that. Yeah,
just doesn't matter. But I don't even
and Utah doesn't have a ton of specialty ones. Some states have a lot.
Some states
Florida
have
has so many.
California has ones where it's poppy seed flowers on the bottom, which is pretty.
I like the one. There's a endless summer one for Florida that's a sunset with a surfer.
Oh,
a silhouette of a surfer.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's so cute.
That's cute.
So if I ever did a specialty one when I was living in Florida, it would probably would have been that one. But.
Yeah, I always told myself if I had one in California and I did a specialty one, I'd probably do the flowers at the bottom because they're just so little and cute, and dainty.
Yeah,
but they also have a whale's tail. Yeah, and just some random ones. So
yeah,
I think a lot of states are doing the solid color though with a Anyways,
fun.
But, I just had been wondering about that.
Hope everyone's Christmas or holiday was great.
I hope you got everything you wanted for Christmas and more.
And happy early New Year.
Do you do anything specific on New Year's? Do you have New Year's? Do people do New Year's traditions? I don't even know.
I'm trying to think back in the day, when I went home, if there was anything. I don't really remember us doing much. Mm-hmm. Obviously you'd watch the ball drop, drop and stuff like that. But I don't remember anything crazy. I feel like most of the traditions were like around Christmas.
When I was younger, this probably wasn't a thing for you. So Disney Channel, I was a Disney Channel kid, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there was like 2 Disney channels, and one was like on Eastern time, and one would be like Western or whatever, or whatever time zone you're in or whatever. Yeah. My parents have done this before, where they changed the clocks in the house, and we would watch the Eastern time ball, like, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that we as children were actually, it was like 10 p.m., but we thought
it was midnight. Love that.
And I think that when I was older, I was like in on it and tricked my brother and stuff. But like, they're like, okay, it's midnight. I'm like, okay. Like,
that's so funny and clever, crazy? Honestly, because then they can go to bed.
Yes. Because at that age,
yeah,
you don't want to.
You're over it. Yeah. I like wanna do something fun this year. I don't know. I have to work on New Year's Day because like bowl games are still happening. But I don't know. I want to like go out and do something fun because I like don't go out anymore.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know. That also just seems like a hassle. Like maybe I'm old, but like thinking about going out and like.
I'm like, maybe I could go out before midnight.
Yeah.
I think maybe
I don't know if I'd stay out all night. But like,
I thought that's what you were saying.
No, I just mean like go out and have fun. Maybe go to like a fun club or like, I don't drink, but like a bar just because the scene is fun.
Yeah.
And like hang out, listen to music, do something fun with like my husband. But that also just sounds exhausting.
You guys have spent a lot of New Year's together at this point.
Honestly, we haven't spent that many because I usually would go
been home in Florida.
Yeah, I would usually go home. And so last year we spent it together, and I think that was like, no, last year we didn't spend it together. The year before that we spent it together.
Okay.
But usually we like, I'm home and he's here, and so it kind of sucks. But yeah, I like this. I was like, I never get a New Year's kiss, even though I've had a man for 4 years. So, anyways, so it'll be fun. I don't know what we're gonna do yet, but I kind of want to go out.
I know.
Part of me wants to, and part of me is like old. And
I think for me, I'm like, I think what I would probably want to do is maybe just like go to like a nice dinner.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, we just go back and like watch a movie, and then at midnight be like, oh, it's midnight, yay.
Yeah.
And then, or something like chill like
that. Or like
that.
do something with my friends. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like get together with like a group.
That'd be fun.
Even if it was just like at someone's house. You
know, it's kind of interesting because I do feel like New Year's is a couple's holiday.
Yeah.
And it kind of, when you're single, it's interesting because it's like, who are you going to spend New Year's with? Even if it's like your friends, it's like so no one's kissing, right?
Yeah.
Or are they? Like, remember that? I mean, I never did, but like, Sarah's rolling her eyes. But like, it's such a thing. Or literally like last year I spent it with my boyfriend. And then afterwards I went to like California and spent it with him. And then afterwards I was talking to all my girlfriends about it. And they're like, oh, like, well, this one of our friends was like, this girl was like thinking they were gonna kiss, but then he kind of wanted to kiss this other girl at midnight.
The drama.
So then he decided to not kiss anyone, and it was so awkward, and it's like so fun. Like it's just so funny.
Yeah.
I honestly, as much as it feels like a couple's holiday, it's actually really fun to like do something with friends because then you're all like, okay, yay, Happy New Year's, you know, like together.
And there's no like pressure on it as a single person to be like, you have to kiss someone at midnight.
Totally. Like, it's just fun.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're spending it with people and it's like, cool, then you'll probably like hang out after or whatever when you're like in a couple and it's like, all right, it's midnight.
All right.
Cool. Bye.
Yeah.
I don't know. So,
anyways, happy early New Year.
Happy early New Year. You won't hear from us until next year. Do you remember when teachers would say that?
Yeah.
Like, see you next year. And I'm like, what? Oh my gosh. The first time I heard that, I remember being
cheesy.
So mind blown. But that is for real. It is almost a new year.
Nice.
And because of that, we just wanted to do, like, this will just be a short little fun one for you guys. Just some things we learned in 2023.
Yeah.
Fun, serious, real, whatever we're feeling.
Yeah.
Always whatever we're feeling.
It's true.
Yeah, we talked about New Year's resolutions. Maybe we'll do that next year. Are you a big resolutions person?
I'm not. I probably should be because I like struggle in general to write down my goals.
Yeah.
And so I think that would help. And, like, just a good reset at the beginning of each year. I feel like it's always helpful. But I also think, like, yeah, a month in, 2 months in, like, you forget about them.
I know.
And so I feel like there needs to be another holiday that marks, like, a reset of your resolutions.
Happy half year. Okay.
Yeah. Like, 4th of July, you know?
Straight up.
The other fireworks, like, holiday.
Yeah.
It's when you need to, like, reset your, like, goals and resolutions. Because I feel like everyone always forgets about them.
I know.
So, like, I'm not super big on it, but I feel like maybe that should be one of my resolutions.
Maybe one of your resolutions should be having resolutions. No.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I feel like last year I set some and I kept it with it for a while, but it's almost hard because if you just set a bunch of resolutions, it's like really difficult. Like, which makes sense why
it can be overwhelming.
Yes. And I know their like goals should be like attainable, measurable, like all those types of things. But like I did that with each of my goals, but I was like, okay, now I have like a bunch. Where I think, like, it's also okay to just, like, make up goals whenever you want.
Yeah, and sometimes, like, circumstances change in your life.
Totally.
And so maybe that goal, like, that you were striving for isn't as important as something else.
Yeah.
So
that was, like, like, things change, your goals can change.
Yeah.
I do think it's important to, like, check in with them.
Yeah.
I feel like this is something, like, like, my boyfriend and I were like, okay, when we're together, we're going to go to the gym 5 times a week together. 3 times. I don't remember the number we put on it because he's been gone for a few weeks, obviously. But then it was like and we're like, okay, and these are our other goals. And like once a month, it's like, okay, how are we doing with our goals? Because it's like, it's like impossible to like keep up, I feel like, if you're just setting a million goals and then never like checking back in or adjusting them.
Yeah.
Because things aren't going to be relevant maybe for the whole year or whatever.
For sure.
So anyways, I was just curious about that.
Yeah. I think that'll be one of my resolutions. Just to like at least check in with myself.
Totally.
See what I'm trying to get done this year. Like I do have some like in my head, but I feel like writing them down is always like a good
It's good to write them down.
Like solidify them.
I have a friend who's like really into astrology.
Yeah.
And she does like moon rituals for every full moon, which sounds very like
wow.
Interesting.
Oh, she's into it.
But she's like kind of into it, but she's into it, but she also just thinks it's like fun and funny.
Yeah. It's like a hobby.
It's like a hobby. So I've gone before and I'm like, mainly what it is it's like it'll be funny. She'll be like, okay, Sarah, you're a this, and this is what your astrology says about you this month, whatever. But then what you do is you like write down goals for the month. Nice. And then like anything like that you want to get rid of, you like burn.
Yeah.
Basically. You like, yeah. But I'm like, the idea of like once a month, I feel like writing those goals or checking in on those goals is like the principle of that. I feel like it's really good.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's maybe something I feel like I've tried to be better about that the last few months is like revisiting these things, but I could still do better. So
for sure.
Anyways, that's all our goal discussion. Now we're going to talk about things we've learned.
Yes.
And you're going to go first this time.
Yeah, I think we'll start with like non-sportsy ones, but something that I learned with life, but also just like planning a wedding is like not to stress the little things.
It's a good one.
That was like a big thing for me this year is there's more important things in life than getting the exact color of a dress. You know what I mean? For bridesmaids or for the mother of the groom or bride. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter, but in like the grand scheme of things, that's not what matters. What matters is everyone's there, everyone's happy, we're all celebrating together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's like very specific to wedding things, but like even in life, like if you have a rough day or something happens embarrassing or something like that, like don't stress it. Like the next day's gonna come, whoever it was or whatever it was, you'll probably forget about it. Like life moves on. And so just to like focus on like what's really important and not all the little things that like go wrong or happen in between. I think it's a big one.
That's so good. Yeah. I feel like that's applicable to everything.
Yeah. It definitely became more prominent this year for me with planning a wedding. But it's something that I think, you can apply to every aspect of life.
Yeah. one that I feel like would be like buddies with your something you learned.
Yeah.
You cannot, I feel like something I've had to think about a lot, just like having a very interesting schedule this year.
Yeah.
I feel like you cannot dedicate 100% of your energy to 100% of the things you do 100% of the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
Where I'm not saying like you should just like not try with things, but understand like it's okay that like I only have so much energy to give.
And you only have so many hours in a day.
100%. And so it's like, it's okay to prioritize. Like, here's where I want to put my energy. Here's where I want to put my focus.
Yeah.
And I'm not like necessarily letting all these things slip, but like maybe I need to not
Put them
commit
on the
to
back
this.
burner a little bit.
Yeah, this will be, if I have time, then I'll give more of my energy to that later. Yeah, I just think sometimes like, obviously we all spread ourselves thin, but then I think we're like really hard on ourselves if we don't like do everything perfect. And it's like, you don't need to be like the busiest person doing a million different things and you don't have the energy to do that.
Yeah. I think that goes back to like us talking about goals. Like it's okay to not accomplish every single one of your goals and do it to like 100%, like you said. Like it's okay to prioritize things and like not necessarily get everything done all at once.
Yeah, it's like what matters most. Like pick the things that matter most so that like you're able to like do them and feel fulfilled in them versus having a million things that are like somewhat done and you feel like half in a bunch of different things versus like fully in something you want to be in.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Just like having like a random schedule and like figuring out like when to do things and how to do things with like friends and family and whatever. I'm like, I feel like it's easy to have a million things going on and it's like
I feel it 100%.
How do I handle this? Like I just gotta prioritize and each day those priorities could look different, but like being willing to work with that.
Yeah. I feel it 100%. I feel like we both had crazy schedules in different ways.
I know.
I was like, I feel like working two
jobs
makes it,
and a wedding and
makes it hard to give 100% to everything.
Yeah.
So
I
feel that. Kind of going off of that, if something or someone is important to you and it's reciprocated, like you'll make the time for them.
Yeah.
And I feel like as I've gotten older and as my friends and I have gotten older, like scheduling times to hang out with people is impossible.
Yeah.
And like sometimes you can't see them in person, but like if they're important to you and you're important to them, like you will find a way to like still check in on each other like weekly or even bi-weekly or still find those times to like hang out and things like that. And this sounds bad, but I just feel like I've had people in my life who like will say, oh, like you're so important to me, but like things just happen. And so like once a year I'll hear from them. And it's like, yeah, that's fine. But like, I'm not going to continue to put in all this effort if it's not given back. You know what I mean?
No, you're speaking to my soul.
So like, that's great. Like if that's all you can do, totally fine. I respect that, but I'm not going to do any more than that as well.
Yeah.
You know? Like you have to give and take, and like if it is really that important, they will make the time for you.
And people come into your life for a reason, for a season, for different, like a variety of things. And I've kind of had to accept that too, because I've had times where I feel like maybe I'm like trying so hard to keep up with someone or whatever. It's like, it's just been busy, whatever. I'm like, I totally get that it's been busy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, again, if it matters, you'll work it out.
Yeah,
like
you'll figure it out.
And maybe that just means you have a different type of relationship.
Yeah.
If you're not finding time for someone or they're not finding time for you, but that also is okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I feel like it's kind of been like this podcast, we have very busy schedules.
I know.
And somehow we still see each other usually once a week. Sometimes we have to pre-record episodes, but like we make time because it's important to us.
Totally.
Could we easily not do this and like fill that time with something else? 100%. But like because it's important to us, like, we somehow make it work.
Even I feel like our friendship, like, it's so true with this podcast, and I feel like our friendship has been like that. We're like, once you and I left BYU, we didn't have to see each other, but, like, we're friends, and we're going to make it happen. So it's like, I'm in California at Disneyland. Hey, Sarah, can we say hi? Or, like, we'd meet up for, like, food or whatever, and it's just, like...
Randomly.
Like, I just think... Yeah.
You make the time.
You make the time if you want to make the time.
Yeah. So that was another thing that I was like, really hit hard this year, just because careers. I was like, we're in a weird stage in life now. And it's so hard to, like, coordinate with people, I swear.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Along with, you said careers in it, I was like, you know what? I'll go to this one next. This is something I feel like I mainly learned last year, but, like, felt comfortable with and settled into this year, which is, like, you are more than, like, what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's hard, especially, like, certain jobs or whatever. It's like you feel like you, like, that's who you are and you have to be attached to that or whatever. But, like, you're a person beyond, like, these... like a career or like the career you have or like how people might perceive you on social media or whatever. Like, you're just beyond that. Like, you are whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
Like, you can be one thing and then decide to be another thing. You know what I mean? Like, you are who you are and you get to define what that is.
Yeah.
And that might take adjusting for people, but that's okay. And it might take adjusting for you. I feel like it did for me. Like, when I left BYU, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I don't know who I want to be. There's a lot of different options, but this was, like, the first year where I'm like, I'm doing something new and I feel, like, good and comfortable about it.
Yeah.
And I think it took a little bit for people to, like, understand. I was like, but is that what you wanted? Is this whatever? I'm like, yeah, like, I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I think, like, that can change.
Yeah. Is it exactly what I, like, envisioned? Maybe not, but it's still something that makes me happy. And
well,
that's okay.
And it's also, like, it's what I want now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like the things we do are going to change. And so we don't want to be, like, that's who I am, because then you're going to be having an identity crisis all the time as you, like, develop through your career and through your life or through, I don't know, your public life or like on social media or whatever. So I just think, just like being whoever you are is great. And it can be like you and I love this podcast, but we're not just this podcast. Yeah. Like, we're more than that too. So very true. Like, and we give everything to this podcast. So it could definitely feel like that. But like, if this podcast, heaven forbid, were to fall apart for some reason or whatever, it's not like we would be like, well,
what's my identity?
Yeah, exactly.
Who am I?
And I just think, like, just like finding you and like whoever you feel like you are is like really important. So
I agree.
And that can change. And I think that's what's cool.
Yeah. I feel like I did not have this one written down, but it goes definitely with that. And I like was trying to figure out a way to phrase it, but like going along with your career and stuff, like knowing what you're worth.
Yeah.
And like being willing to like fight for that. Totally. I think is super important. And it kind of goes with, with up that same alley, but just like understanding that like it is a business and you kind of have to sell yourself in things. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And like I've been like slowly finding a confidence as I've like come out of college. Like I kind of used the crutch of like, oh, like I'm fresh out of college. I don't think like I'm qualified for this certain job or whatever, but it's like, no, like know your experience, know your worth. You may have not had that level of a job, but that doesn't mean that like you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something that I've been learning and trying to figure out and navigate through this year. Hopefully it will start to present a little more next year.
I think that's like such a good thing because I think there's like different ways that can look too, where it's like maybe you do like learn, you're like, wow, I am worth so much, and you learn how to stick up for yourself and hold your ground on that. But like that can also go one of two ways, where like you get what you wanted or you didn't, so you leave or you move on or whatever. But I think it's like holding true to what you know you're worth one way or the other is so important.
And I think that goes not just in careers, that can go in relationships.
Oh, absolutely. I think that goes in like friendship relationships, family relationships, any type of relationships. I think that can go in like truthfully just anything. I think like the level at which you respect yourself is how like you can set that standard where people like I respect myself so much, so this is the standard in which you either rise to or you skate out of here. You know?
100%.
So that's a really good one, Sarah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways.
Okay.
Some sporty ones?
Yeah. Are we on sporty ones now? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think that was everything.
I think so. Okay. This is somewhat sporty, but also I'll just say it. It's never too late to learn something new. And I say this because I feel like this year I've been like, I love going to like the driving range or Topgolf or like, okay, I'm going to try snowboarding even though like I haven't done it in forever and it feels like it's something new. Yeah. Or like, I'm going to join this powder puff league even though I don't know if I really know how to like play football. Yeah. And I'm like 27 years old, but like I'm just going to go do it. Like, I think that can be applied to sport or anything. This like where it's just like it's always worth trying something.
For sure.
So whatever it is that you've been wanting to try or do, I'm like, you should do it.
Whether it's sports related, whether it's not.
Whether it's a podcast.
You should do it.
Yeah. You should do it.
So fun. No, I agree. Mine is I just think this year I feel like more and more ESPN, I feel like, was a place that we would go to a lot for, like, documentaries, for sports documentaries, like 30 for 30s, 60 and 60, whatever it is. And I feel like this year, especially, we've seen more, like, other outlets come out with documentaries. So
every platform has their own now.
And so that's the thing I learned is, like, we need more of that. Like, I want to keep that going. Like, whether it be Netflix or Peacock or HBO or Prime, wherever you find them, like, you can find them anywhere now. Whereas I feel like growing up, it was only ESPN, you know? Yeah. And so I'm here for the sports documentaries. That one's kind of silly, but, like, I am here for them, and I love them, and I think we just need to keep bringing out more of them.
There are so many good stories that we haven't heard yet.
Yeah.
That are out there.
Yeah.
So I agree.
So, yeah.
I totally agree.
I think it's so fun.
Something that sports taught me about non-sports, I guess, is that if you want like a new audience, a population to be into something, literally just attach Taylor Swift to it.
Yeah.
And like, did I know this? Yeah. Like, did I know the level of Swifties? Like, yeah, I kind of knew it, but I don't feel like I've witnessed it to this level. And then I've just started noticing more things where it's like all these movies are attaching like their soundtrack to her.
Yeah.
Or like things like that where I'm like, wow. I mean, honestly, if you want to bring in a new population to something, just look at what has happened with Swifties in the NFL.
Kiki, that was my other one was Taylor Swift put the NFL back on the map. And that was like a joke. I obviously know the NFL is a huge deal, but I feel like it was losing some of its, like, it wasn't gaining a new audience every year, and they've been trying to figure out a way to do that, whether it be like their Nickelodeon broadcasts they do or things like that. And then it was as simple as Travis Kelce just needed to start dating Taylor Swift. And now, like, look what happened.
Yep.
So crazy.
Just get very powerful people involved.
Speaking of, I was listening to the Kelce Brothers podcast. And they were talking about how in Europe now, the number one and number two top selling jerseys are Jason and Travis Kelce.
That's insane.
And then it's Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts.
No. Like the number of NFL.
Yeah.
Like
in the
NFL.
Wow. Yeah, jerseys in Europe, which is just crazy.
That is so crazy.
Or it might be in the UK, actually, not all of Europe. But, which I just was like, literally all you have to do is start dating Taylor Swift.
You become worldwide.
Who would have thought?
Literally, like the whole world will know who you are. That's so crazy. Funny. Wow. I'm glad we were on the same page. I knew we had to be, right?
Yeah. You have to talk about when you talk about this year. I feel like that's one of the biggest things that happened, like crossover-wise.
Yeah.
With sports and pop culture.
Also, one that I didn't think of that I probably should have thrown out there is, like, I feel like if you want to know what, like, the life of sports is genuinely like, go to the WAGs. Go to the Wives and Girlfriends, because they like Allison Cooch, she'll be like, so my husband was just cut. Now we have to move. Like there are some people who are just like
real about it.
They're just so real about it. And it's like so fun to see a different perspective.
It's very true.
So
go to the families, specifically the wives.
Yeah, they'll tell you everything.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Or like Christian McCaffrey, like did you see like all his like his girlfriend or his wife, she recorded him like after game, and he had like all these like scars on him and stuff.
Yeah, all the bruises and everything.
Yeah, you want to see a sneak peek into what it actually looks like?
Yeah.
Or look to them.
Did you see Tyreek Hill got injured and he texted his wife and he's like, look, honey, like, I'm not doing good. And she was like, get your butt back into the game or something like that. And I'm like, what a real one.
I know.
If you want unfiltered, like, just straight opinion, straight whatever is happening, go to the Wives.
Yeah, if you want to know how it really is.
Yeah.
And they like, who did I see? And she was like talking to her husband or boyfriend like after he lost, and she's like, it's okay, baby, it's fine. And he's like, no, it's not. She's like, yeah, it is. It's like in the stadium. It's
so
like
funny.
So funny. So if you want like the most genuine reactions, they're the ones to go to.
It's true.
We needed last episode we had one we agreed upon. We needed one more for us to come together on.
For sure.
That was it.
That was it.
Okay, guys. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I was like, I think we covered everything.
I'm trying to remember. This comes out after Christmas, before the New Year.
Yeah. The week in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
So hence now's the like, we'll see you next year. Jokes.
Yeah.
Cool. I hope you guys have a fantastic New Year's.
Yes.
We said this last time with Christmas. I hope your New Year's is just as great, or greater if your Christmas wasn't great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what we're going to do individually, but can't wait to hear about it, Sarah.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited to touch base again afterwards.
I know.
See what happens. See if you got your New Year's kiss.
I know. We'll see. So funny.
But, yeah. We'll see you next year, guys.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us on Calling
the
Shots.
I almost missed it.
Did we? I was like, it seemed off.
Yeah, it was. One more time.
Calling
the Shots.
That was better. All right.
See ya.
Bye.